Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, and I want to talk about some celebrities reacting to Sean Diddy Combs beating most of his serious charges today. Definitely his legal team is calling it a victory. He is still in jail, though, so I'm going to give you all some updates as well. I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. So Diddy's judge has denied him bail, saying that he has not proven that he is not a threat to society. So Diddy will remain in jail until his sentencing. Diddy was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Although Diddy did beat most of his serious charges, he still faces up to 20 years in prison. That's 10 years for each count that he was found guilty of. There will be a hearing next week regarding the scheduling of Diddy's sentencing. Now, I want to talk about some celebrity reactions, and then I will give my commentary as I talk about those. So I am sharing my screen here to talk about some celebrity reactions. We're going to start off with the rapper Bootsy. We know that he's been pro Diddy throughout this entire trial. I would definitely, if I had to describe him, I would say he's red pill. And just in my opinion, and just for me, in my opinion, when I think of the red pill sector here on YouTube, I think a lot of negative judgments towards women, particularly Black women, where Black men make fun of Black women's looks. And if they are single moms, as if women make babies by themselves. And just derogatory things are said about women and Black women in particular. So I do think of that when I think of the rapper Bootsy. But here's what he had to say in regards to Diddy beating most of his serious charges.
Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. The reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. And I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, I know he ain't paid people, but if he done all this shit for hip hop, if he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship. And and people always Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about seven children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kids' position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. So all y'all was like, no, I'm thinking about them damn children, man. So man, I'm glad he free, bro. Like I've been said, I don't feel he was guilty of nothing. Nothing but domestic violence. You know, but the court spoke, man, and man, I'm happy that dude children, man. I know his feeling right now, bro. I'm just happy for them children, man. So, did it sit your ass down somewhere? That's what you need to do. Grab Stevie J and your children and get the fuck on. Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. The reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. And I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, I know he ain't paid people, but if he done all this shit for hip hop, if he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship. And and people always Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about seven children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these seven kids who been in my kids' position. Not knowing if your daddy.
Okay, I want to briefly talk about what Bootsy is saying. Now, he says a couple of different themes in his video. He talks about, he's thinking about Diddy's 7 kids, how worried they must have been these past couple of months, several months since Diddy has been in prison, awaiting the start of the trial that started in May up until this point, them worrying how long he would spend behind bars. And then Bootsy also mentioned, that there's this takedown of black moguls. And if Diddy was white, there would be white people protesting for him. I will say this, Bootsy, that it's actually just, in my opinion, not that black and white. Okay, no pun intended. I don't think it's that black and white. I think sometimes when someone is being accused of actual crimes and women being violated, I do think in other races, people would shun them a little more. I think that they look at the type of charges. If it's something of financial crimes, like what happened with Todd Chrisley and his wife, lots of people rallied behind them and thought that the sentence was way too steep for being convicted of like wire fraud and other types of financial fraud. But I do feel like some people would totally say, no, that's wrong for violating people, especially when if they are high, if their judgment is a little off and they don't know what's happening around them. I would definitely say that I feel like some people of other groups would definitely say that the person needs to be punished. They need to pay their debt to society. And let me say this, I am someone who loves hip hop music. I have a collection that includes Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac, Biggie. I love Biggie. Okay. Do I own some LL Cool J? I'm pretty sure that I do. I think I even have like some Heavy D. You name it. I love hip hop. I've always had this war within of loving a genre of music so much that I knew disrespected me lyrically. Okay, so I know that it's a genre of music that isn't perfect, but I know that it does represent the mentality of some urban males, not all. And then you put those lyrics on top of a beat. And yeah, I definitely spent my money on some hip hop music. Now, I remember watching something on Fox Soul a few years ago. It wasn't one of the super popular shows like TGIF. It was the panel one that would have, I think the lady's name was Tammy. Was it like Tammy Mack or something like that? I'm sorry. And she was talking to this black man, and he was saying, rap music, we're the only race that has a genre of music that disrespects our women. And I never forgot that. And I said, wow, I am the product of the disrespect in the music that I purchase. And so when I look at Bootsy, I do get a conviction that I put my money behind music that degrades the Black woman. So I'm not shocked that he is pro Diddy and he is satisfied with what the jury decided. In my opinion, the prosecution did not do its job. I've watched Armand Wiggins' coverage the most, and he has said that he felt like Jane Doe threw the case at the end of her testimony. She threw it. He said he felt like if she wasn't there, perhaps, the jury would have convicted him. I'm paraphrasing that last part. Maybe I may have misinterpreted him, but he definitely said that Miss Jane Doe threw the case at the end. And he pretty much said she messed everything up. So I feel like with Bootsy, it's a mentality that is echoed in hip hop music. It doesn't surprise me on how he is reacting. And then he kind of ties a bow on his opinion by bringing up Diddy's children. And it's nice that you're thinking about Diddy's children. Probably, I would say, over the years, Diddy should have been thinking about his children before everything happened, from the alleged, prescriptions under Fred Black to, all of the freak offs at the hotels, and just all of that chaos. To me, it's chaos. You may experience a climax over and over, but that is a very chaotic way to do it. So I want to now talk about the comedian Lunell. Let's get into her reaction. So here is her post. So shout out to the Neighborhood Talk. This is where this content is coming from. The headline reads, Lunell reacts to Diddy's trial verdict. Nobody cares what men do to women. It's sad AF to me. Lunell says, so ladies, we're dead in the water. People are cheering for this nasty man. Nobody, and I mean nobody, cares about what men do to women. It's sad AF to me. All his enablers and helpers, they just get to skip away scot-free. Hurry, run and get your baby oil and let the freak offs begin again. So in my opinion, that's Lunell's way of saying, he's not really changed. He's going to continue doing what he does. I feel like my opinion, what Lunell said in her post, it echoes my opinion closely. I remember like watching Oprah a while back, obviously, on her talk show, and she was saying that the legal system, it does not care about actual crimes. Of course, I'm trying not to say every trigger word that YouTube doesn't like, so just put an S in front of actual, and you know what I'm saying. But Oprah said that the legal system doesn't care about actual crimes. They look at it like, oh, it's just sex. And I have to agree with that. I feel like the legal system, they don't care about trauma, particularly if you're traumatized by being actually violated. They just care about, was someone unalived? Was someone robbed? Was a political figure threatened? I feel like those are like the top three. And then if prosecutors feel like nailing celebrities, they usually aim for financial fraud, some type of fraud, or in Diddy's case, now they care about actual crimes. But in the event, I feel like people overall, they just don't care if folks are traumatized, particularly by actual violations. They just don't see that as a crime. And that's where we are. So it means, so for me, like women, you have to you have to deal with your feelings in a more logical way. And what I mean by that is, every time you get a feeling of loneliness, you don't have to text all of the Tom, Dick, and Harrys in your phone that ain't no good, that means no good. He's not going to promise you commitment or a permanent relationship. And you already know from prior experience that he ain't that good in bed anyway. So, just don't bother. The loneliness is just a feeling. It will pass away. And then also with Diddy, what I think of is not just women wanting companionship or affection for a few minutes, but he has the money, he has serious money, he has the wealth, he has the properties, the ability to just get up and travel. Perhaps he even has the ability to fund your dreams and make them come true. You also have to learn independence. You have to be able to take care of yourself at a level that satisfies you, whether that is through getting education and being certified in something, or working your way to a higher position within a company, or starting your own business. But you have to fund yourself and not depend on no man. Because I also feel like once he sees that you're not a worker and you're okay with depending on him, he's also going to treat you a certain way based off of that. So women, you have to protect yourself at all cost. no matter how good he looks or how good he feels. But let's move on to more reactions. So I want to talk about Tiny for a minute. Tiny from Escape, the wife of T.I. This headline reads, Tiny says people want to charge you so bad for being freaky. And as Kim Porter's best friend praises God for the outcome of Diddy's trial. So Kim Porter's best friend says, her name is Ebony Electra, praise God. Opinions, we are all entitled to them. Mistakes, we all make them. Judging, we all do it. Gossip, we are all guilty of it. God's will is higher than any opinion, mistake, judgment, or gossip. If this is God's will for Puff/Diddy, then that's his will. In the end, when what we think does not compare to his will, who are we to judge? That's God's job. It's all in his hands. You never know. Hashtag it's all in the word. Hashtag read your Bible, in my opinion. And then Tiny, she goes by Major Girl on Instagram. She responds with, yeah, people want to charge you so bad for being freaky is nasty work. And then, of course, the next slide is them saying him being found guilty of transportation with to engage in prostitution with Cassie and Jane Doe, but cleared of all the other charges. So people in the comments are saying, Tiny, just tread lightly. We all know that the reason why Tiny shares this opinion is because she and her husband, T.I., they have been battling several cases where they are accused of SA. Several people came forward saying that they would go to parties allegedly hosted by T.I. and Tiny. They would wake up, they would be given something, and next thing they know, they would wake up feeling very sore. Some people were represented by Tyrone Blackburn, and a lot of their cases, Tiny and T.I. have beaten. I don't think they're cleared in all of their cases, but a lot of them they have beaten. So that's why she has this opinion. People want to charge you so bad for being freaky is nasty work. And I don't think that anyone is being accused or charged for being freaky. I consider myself, very actual. And guys, I've been told before that I am a freak, but I think it's when you're trying to control someone to the point where they lose their judgment, their ability to make decisions using substances, allegedly. I think that's a huge problem. And what we saw on video of what Diddy did to Cassie, that's definitely unacceptable. Those are the things that's a problem. You being knocked out in one state, and when you come to, you're in another state, and a bunch of Negroes is waiting to hit it. Okay, that ain't freaky. That's taking advantage of someone and being willing to violate them. And it's something about when you are intimate with someone, you want it, they want it. And if let's add to that, you really care about the person, so you want to please them and vice versa, that can be a part of sex as well. So I don't understand folks who want to take it, who want to knock somebody out with substances and then take it and then leave them feeling used and confused. You're getting just the physical act of it, but you're not getting all of the other cherries on top. You're getting no cherry, no whipped cream, because you've taken away from that person the ability to actually want the sex. And that is something I'll never be down with. But those reactions I definitely wanted to share. Of course, Aubrey released a very long statement. People are over it because, she didn't want to testify. And in my opinion, the prosecution didn't, do their job. Perhaps Jane Doe should not have testified altogether. But, it is what it is. I just hope that everyone involved can heal, and I hope that everyone involved remains safe. But what did you think about the jury's decision? Do you think that prosecution, there were some things that they could have done differently or better? Do you agree with how the jury decided? I think based on what was presented to the jury, I feel like they pretty much made the right calls based on what was presented. I do feel like something fishy was happening with Jane Doe. I don't know if anybody got to her, whether it was with money or with something else, just in my opinion, Diddy. But what do you all think about this case? I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you all had a wonderful Wednesday. I did. It was very busy afterwards once I got off of work, and I met up with a dear, loving friend that I've known since college. And there was a loss, so I spent some time with them this evening, and now I'm home to create some content. So I just hope that you all had a wonderful day, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.